listeners out there, who is Chyna Nicole? They might be hearing you for the very first time. So tell us who you are.
Great. So Chyna Nicole is a little girl who has grown up with the same dream, and that is to let my music, just share my music all over the world and let my music shine and in the hearts of many souls. So I was born in New York, Harlem.
Okay.
Very rich culture. And my family is from Jamaica.
Yeah.
Specifically Kingston, Waterhouse. And my first record was in 1994 on vinyl on my dad's label. My father's name is Carl Williams.
Okay.
And everybody knows him in the community because he used to work for Best Dressed Chicken and enough things in the community still. So now he's an elder in the community. And he was a DJ, then a sound man, and then he turned producer. So he produced my first record in 1994 under his label called Liquidity Label, and it was distributed by Dynamic Sound.
Okay.
He is very prominent in the area because he and King Jammy's all grew up together. He actually resides right beside the studio, King Jammy. So you can imagine the rich culture and the vibes and the energy with all the artists coming to see Jammies and then come checking him, and some artists voicing him as well and that kind of thing. Even though he didn't blow up like King Jammies, he's still regarded in the community. And a lot of people know, just him as an elder and a wise person in the industry and that kind of vibe. So a lot of my influences are from my dad, obviously, my mother, and Firehouse Crew, which is also from Waterhouse, the majority of them.
Yeah.
So
wow.
That's kind of to sum me up,
What a journey for you. So how did you decide, okay, I'm going to take this journey now as a career?
Yeah, I've always wanted to sing as a career. What happened was when I applied to Howard University, I didn't get into the School of Performing Arts because I went to academic high school. They were primarily focused on academics, even though I had scholarships to all over, UConn, you name it. Howard University was like, you need your portfolio, you need this and that. So I ended up majoring in radio, TV, and film. And my minor was education. So basically, that was my career for a long time, doing radio. I mean, I've worked with the best. Earl Chicken. I worked with Irie FM under Carl Young, who rest in peace. I worked with Zip FM, 93.5 with Mike Sterling, and Linkage Radio. So I've done a lot of radio work, and I've also done a lot of educational work as well. But music never left me. I've always recorded along the way. I recorded my first album in 2013 called 20 Years in the Making and Ready for the World.
Yeah.
My second album, that album, 20 Years in the Making and Ready for the World, it features Andrew Bees, who's from Waterhouse. So we lived in the Waterhouse community there, and he's also a member of Black Kukuru.
Yeah.
That album also features Junior Kat, the brother of Super Cat. Junior Kat is very talented lyricist.
Yeah.
Everybody know that. That album also features Chuck Turner. So that first album, who's also a musical father to me. So that first album definitely, paved way for the next album. And Detroit Francis helped elevate that album. He's from Waterhouse also. He goes by the name of Mightiful 13. My second album, called Higher, was out in 2016.
Yeah.
And it features Sly and Robbie. It features Yami Solo. It features Althea Hamilton, rest her soul. She was a backing vocalist for Luciana Bujuba. It features Chuck Turner again. So you see, I'm always in the mix, always highlighting people, backing vocals, always trying to work with the best of the best.
Yeah.
And now I have my third album, which just released last Friday. So it's not even a week old, DJKAT.
Yeah.
And it's already creating storms on the top iTunes. It was like number 40-something on the top 100. I mean, we're an indie label, so to us that's huge because there's a lot of big names on that chart when it debuted. And then it also debuted at 15 on the Amazon chart. So we're happy, even though, of course, we all want number ones, we're just happy that we're still charting. And I'm just really blessed to work with Gary Sutherland right now. He is the executive producer of the album, and the album features crazy big-time producers like George Miller, Computer Paul, Noel Alfonso, and some great other acts like Shola Henry from Nigeria, David Clark, Mark Clark. I think I named everybody. Floyd Pickout. Pickout is from England. Pick up yourself, Pickout. And Junior Delgado, the late Junior Delgado, that's their track, Righteous Reigns in Mama Africa. So that's where we are, DJKAT. And my third album, and it's called Level of Concern. And let me tell you, why don't you tell them? How did you like the album?
I love the album. That's why you're being interviewed. So tell the listeners out there, because I will play the song after our interview, but tell us, how did you come up with this album? How did you put it together? And why is now the right time?
Yes, I started this album 2 years ago because I produced an all-female album called Queens in the Arena Kemet Rhythm. I think that's how you and I connected. And so I was recording along the way, but it didn't really come to fruition until COVID, when I was actually able to take time at home and write songs. And because of what we're all going through, it's just it's unprecedented. We don't know what's going to happen. It's like we're praying and hoping for the best, but still we don't know, because this kind of took us by storm. And it truly is a level of concern.
Yeah.
So seeing the death toll, having people that I know closely die to me. Gil Bailey, I don't know if you know him, but he's an icon here in New York. He passed away. He played my first record ever in New York. He passed away from COVID. And then Father German, big promoter out here in New York, he passed away, they say, due to COVID. So we have what touched me. It really impacted me, and impacted many people. And all of us have to, take measures to not catch this COVID, whatever it is, right?
Definitely.
So then now we have this racism going on, like in America, with police brutality. So it's just, this album definitely speaks to everything that we're going through, and I think that it's a different kind of album, because not all love songs like my previous albums. And it's just really like a revelation of what's happening, and also giving praises to God, and definitely telling people to, we can move through this, we can get through this together. And I've got to big up Jabbar I, the artist, who's also on my album. I know you interviewed him, and I listened to the interview. It was really good. He's featured on my track Hero, and he actually played instruments on 3 songs on my album. So big up to Jabbar I.
Yeah. Definitely. So you touched on racism, and obviously everybody knows about George Floyd and what's happening. How are you, being in New York, how are you kind of, I'm not going to say dealing with it, but how are you kind of coping with it? Because it is traumatic, racism anyway, because lots of people didn't realize or haven't thought about racism still being here, and it's always been continuous. So what are your thoughts on it, sis?
Yes, definitely traumatic. It's to the point where we almost were getting numb to it, because it happens so frequently.
Yeah.
And I was hoping that my son, who is a young scholar, wouldn't have to see this in his lifetime. I don't know, call me stupid, oblivious, I don't know. I just figured that this was going to be over with, because in my lifetime, I witnessed Rodney King. Oh my God, I almost did the producer, sorry. Rodney King, who later on passed away in the 90s. He was beaten to death, almost.
Yeah.
And we have Eric Garner, we have Trayvon Martin, so many, Breonna Taylor. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on and on, and many names that we don't even know, right?
Yeah, true.
So it's when this happens, it's like you really do get frustrated. Like, when is something going to happen? At first I was like, are we being weak as Black people? And I'm so glad that I have this song to resonate the message, and I'm even happier that I'm seeing multiple races joining the Black community all over the world. They said it's the biggest protest in history.
Yeah.
So I'm happy. So it's traumatizing, but yet I feel there's definitely God's light shining. God's light is shining on all of us, to saying, no, the world is going to change. We're going to wake up. But I do want to still see the results of this.
Yeah.
After the protest, I want to see systemic changes. I want to see, more equality amongst everybody.
Yeah, I hope so.
And ridding poverty, all the disparities in poverty and healthcare system. We could go on, but and education, so I just hope that this can definitely change the world.
I hope so.
Yeah.
So we're going back to your music. Being a female within the business, how has it treated you, the music business?
The music business has been very rough for Chyna Nicole, and that's why I furthered my education, went back to school, and helped children all over the world, really. Because one school was an international school, and I had students from really even Malaysia I've taught children. So it grounded me to say, you know what, maybe God is saying I wasn't ready then.
Yeah.
I needed to learn more. I needed to do other things with my life, raise my son. And that's what happened. So for me, me entering it again for the third album, it's like, now I'm like a seasoned woman, but I have a young, fresh, everyone's saying a young, fresh voice, fresh vibes. My family, very vibesy. Gary Sutherland's very vibesy also. And we know that the world is just so big, there's space for everybody who has talent to create something and meaningful to impact people positively.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really feeling really honored that you have me on your show and able to share my music with the world, because it's really, really refreshing. For people are saying we've got great reviews, and yeah, so it's been rough, but I'm very hopeful. The ride has been rough, but I'm still hopeful, and I'm in a happy place where I can still create, music.
Definitely. And for those who are thinking, that they would like to get into the music business, what kind of advice could you give them?
Definitely to learn the business. I learned bits and pieces just from along the way experiences, working at radio stations that I've worked with, great people. And did I mention Earl Chin? I don't know if I mentioned Earl Chin, but working with some great people and studying the craft of studying the greats. Study the greats. Whoever you really like, study their song structure,
Yeah.
study the lyric, how they're using figurative language. English, you have the best vocabulary, and the language is your language, you know what I mean, DJKAT? So studying all of that. No, truly, like, I hear where I'm like, wow, I didn't even know that word. And I'm a teacher, But, definitely learning personification, learning simile, metaphor, learning irony, all of that embedded in your music. I have a song, Nye and Biggie, even though it's about birds, it's really a love song too, about, man and woman,
Yeah.
or whatever floats your boat. So, and then, so many other songs that have a lot of figurative language, and if you listen closely to the lyrics,
For real.
So I think that's important. That's important for anyone, young, old, whoever wants to get into the business. Learn songwriting. I think that's very important. It helps you as an artist. And it'll be great to also play an instrument. I don't play anymore. I need to learn again.
Okay.
I used to play the clarinet, but I think that, those are some jewels I can drop for your audience.
For real. So, I know you're doing lots of different projects, but what would you like to do next?
Wow. Next, I really want to focus on getting this music in Africa,
Okay.
because we have a Nigerian producer. And so far, just looking at, just responses and feedback, Africa is loving it. Certain parts of Africa is loving this album, and Europe. So I want to focus, and some parts of the USA as well.
Yeah.
I want to focus on promoting this album as much as we can, because there's so many dynamics to this album and different energies from audiences that will gravitate to different songs, which is great. That's why we did it this way. So that's really a big project in itself,
Yeah.
just getting that out. And I think I'm going to do an all-female album. I'm really thinking about it seriously in the next couple of years, not right away, because I do want to breathe and still, because I'm always going to be writing.
Yeah.
And then I want to just help artists along the way. I'm always willing to help artists that are willing and committed and grateful, because I didn't get that opportunity. I had to learn it the hard way. My father was there, but I still had to learn so much more on my own as a female artist.
Yeah.
And people promising empty promises. Don't go for the empty promises, people. I had so many people telling me they're going to record me and work with me and this and that along the way, when I was in, my early 20s. And none of that happened. None of it. But if I was recorded, it wasn't released. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
definitely be the person who puts out your music if you can. Once you work with some great people to steer you along the way. But so that's really it for me in terms of future projects, just promotion of this album, learn level of concern, and the music level. Let's Be for Justice. The video just dropped for Let's Be for Justice, which is on the Foundation Radio Network chart, New York and Florida, and DJ Fly charts out in UK as well. So just those two things right now, DJKAT.
Okay. And so, who inspires you?
To do music?
Yeah, in music or in life. Who are you listening to? Who inspires you to do what you do?
Okay, educationally, I had some great teachers along the way. So all of those great educators, they know who they are, because I make sure I let them know how much I love them and appreciate them. The radio, the great people that I worked with, I mentioned those names.
Yeah.
Musically, Michael Jackson is like, because I feel like I learned how to write songs just learning from his lyric sheets and stuff like that. So that's who molded me as a writer. Babyface molded me as a writer because I take some of what he does. And then, of course, culturally, I also take from Bob Marley, you know, Righteousness Reigns, all those kind of vibe, that roots kind of vibe comes from Bob Marley, Richard Marley. And, I mean, there's so many names I can name. Sanchez, that's when I really started loving reggae as a teen. Yeah. Shabba Ranks, Stacey Lattisaw, Denise Williams, Barbara Weathers from Atlantic Starr. These are names I'm sure these are like R&B names.
Okay.
Anita Baker, Mary J. Blige, Mariah Carey. There's so many people that I love.
Yeah,
that
the list goes on.
Me to write. Eptone, my mother, Pat Kelly.
Yeah.
Coxon, the whole Coxon era.
Yeah.
Motown era. Yeah, that's where I pull from.
Okay.
Because they did it great before me. You know what I mean?
For real, for real. So, what makes you different, sis, from any other artist?
Well, definitely my journey. Just the fact that I can talk about music the way I can because I study it and I love it. It's an innate passion of mine. And the fact that I'm an educator. And the fact that I actually was a broadcaster. That makes me different because I pull from those areas in my songwriting skills and in my musical delivery. And it's the fact that I was born in New York, but yet have the Waterhouse instilled in my spirit from living there and working with Firehouse Crew, who taught me how to sing on reggae music. Yeah. You know, all credit goes to Firehouse Crew and my father, Carl Williams. And then I have Gary Sutherland, who is an executive producer of this album, who's from Tough Song. I mean, I feel like I'm really around some great people in reggae music. Gary Sutherland has worked with everybody, mostly. All of the big names you can name, he's recorded them or worked with them on some level. So I think that's what makes me a little bit different than this you know, typical R&B artist or a reggae artist. You know, I'm kind of a combination.
Definitely. That's cool, man. That's cool. So, would you be up for doing something a little live for us right now, for the listeners out there?
Sure.
Okay, you choose.
What song? Oh, I was going to say, what song you want to sing?
Oh, no, I was going to say, whatever you're feeling for the listeners to hear. If they're listening to you for the very first time, what would you like to sing to them?
I like to sing an inspirational song called Blaze It High.
Okay.
Have you ever been through the storm? Feels like you can't go on, like a ton of bricks on your shoulder. You should know that Jaja is the ruler. Give it all to him. Dust yourself off, let's go. Bad mind, I go kill them. Where them I go say when Chyna Nicole steps in the way, when the music is rocking and everybody is popping. I walk with the Father, Jaja lead the way, protected by the Most High. Just always put your lights in the sky. Gonna live my best life. Yeah.
Yeah. But. So,
blaze it high.
What would you like to say to the listeners out there before we go? What would you like to say to them?
I would like to say that it is a joy to first love yourself. Yeah. Learn yourself, learn your heart, learn your mind, learn your spirit. That's important because when you learn yourself, then you know what you want to become. You know what you gravitate to, and you know what you're not going to gravitate to.
Definitely.
So definitely keep that in mind and hold fast to dreams, for dreams will never die.
For real.
And that's a poem from Langston Hughes from Harlem Renaissance. I have to pick up like the era. So yeah, you know, that's what I want to say. Hold on to your dreams, make them happen, learn yourself, love each other.
For real. Big up, sis. You know what? I just want to say thank you for your time, for doing an interview with me. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me, DJ Kat.
Anytime. We'll speak again soon for sure.
Yeah, man.
All right.
Blaze it high.
Definitely. Speak soon.
See you soon.
Bless.
Bless.
Yes, people, you heard it here, okay? Go and check out the sisters' new album, okay? It's called Level Unconcerned. I'm going to be playing the track for you right now, so let us know what you think, okay? This one is Level of Concern by Chyna Nicole. Here we go.
I'm the real star, man. You're listening to DJ KAT, the Kat-a-lyst on Arawak Radio. Hey, DJ KAT, honors, you know. Respect our manners, you know. The angry beast got away in the streets. It's hiding in the bushes and lurking in the creeks. Now ain't the time for the heart to be weak. Stand up like a warrior upon your feet.
I'm a catastrophe. You wanted me to save you from the tragedy. You didn't see it coming, now you're quarantined. Did everything you could, you tried to break free from the security.